Hello everyone. For a long time, I have been trying to go to the gym continuously, being consistent. But due to several reasons, I tend to stop. I have mentioned this in my previous videos. Of course, the reasons are like major reasons where I wanted to focus on my academic work, maybe the research work. Those were the main reasons in particular. But I have also noticed something different. When I want to work out, I tend to lift the highest weight that I could. And when I do so, there are two things that happen. One, I don't keep my form, the right form, and the full range of motion that I'm supposed to do from that workout. And because of that, I don't see gains. Recently, I realized this was also one reason that I tend to miss the gym. Because when I try to lift the heaviest weight that I could, I get tired easily and not having gains because I don't do the workout properly. It's not in the right form. So after several weeks of pause, stopping due to my fall exams and the fall semester, the last week, I went to the gym. But this time, because I was not used to go to the gym and because I stopped for several weeks, my body was not ready to lift the heavy weights. So I thought I'll start with a smaller weight. But then since I was lifting a smaller weight, I could get the full range of motion. And I realized something really fascinating. So when I came back to my apartment and pondered on this incident, because after I did this workout, I could get the full range of motion. I was satisfied and I could see some change, that I could feel the muscles were exercising itself. Usually I don't feel that when I lift heavy weights because I tend to hit the goal. I'm recording my workout in the app that's called Heavy. I mean, they don't pay or anything, but that's a good app. So since I want to hit the target, put the repetitions, the reps that I wanted to do, I tend to do the workout somehow with the weight. I know I'm not hitting the real form. I'm not getting the real form, the real range of motion. I'm not doing the real workout actually. So when I was lifting this lesser weight, the manageable weight, I could do the workout properly, and then I was feeling very satisfied. I was not very tired too. And then this thought came to my mind. This is exactly the same for other areas in your life and my life. Because when we try to put the maximum effort that we could, it exhausts ourselves and we burn out very quickly. And above everything, we cannot get the achievement that we want, that we desire, because we are not doing the work properly. It's just we want to come out with a burst of energy and we want to give the maximum, but we are not consistent. We don't continue because we can't continue when we have the maximum energy on something. Well, dear friends, think for a moment. Isn't this the case in everything? If we could lift manageable weights, if we could make manageable efforts, we could sustain our energy and work continuously, consistently, because consistency breeds progress, not huge perks or huge peaks of bursts of energy that we give out and be infrequent, inconsistent, not do the work properly. It's very simply put. So today I just want to talk with you about three different scenarios. Let's take a student, someone who wants to build a business, and someone who is dedicated himself to charity, somebody like a philanthropist. How can we see in the lenses of different people, just applying this principle of making manageable effort to achieve something while preserving consistency? Isn't that more effective rather than pushing hard, grinding ourselves? I know it's very difficult for us to realize this, though we understand or to absorb this fact to our mind, because, including myself, most of us want very quick results. So if you are a student, let's talk about the student now. So if you are a student, when an exam is closer, even me, I try to work or sit and read, do exercises, do papers to the maximum range of hours, the maximum number of hours that I can. And you know what happens? Without taking breaks, I used to sit at a place and try to grind as much as I can, try to absorb the contents as much as I can. Sometimes some of you might pull all-nighters, cramming. You just want to give the maximum energy that you could. Very simply, everybody knows after a certain time period, our concentration decreases. Our focus decreases. You easily burn out. The memory retention decreases. Right? You know the forgetting curves, right? And you also know that the initial phase, or when we start, we could remember a lot of things, and by the time we are just gone, we can't remember anything. But if we turn this around and see if we could put some manageable effort, break it into chunks, maybe doing Pomodoro. It doesn't work for everybody, but breaking it to chunks, and then having enough time, starting early for the exam. Maybe at the beginning of the semester, now I'm starting a new semester, these lessons are just for me. I should start early, break it into chunks, and study in smaller chunks, but continuously. And also, when we try to put a lesser effort, for an example, I have to take a machine learning class with heavy linear algebra. It's a fundamental course to machine learning with a emphasis on mathematics. So I wanted to finish an entire book within a week, a matrix analysis and a linear algebra textbook. But I tried doing that several times. I failed, and later I thought of just going through one chapter, or one subsection actually, and doing it. And even then, I wanted to read the chapter, go through it, and then do all the exercises. At least like a representative number of problems. But then I realized that when I try to put that effort, like a very high effort, that doesn't happen. So I loosen my goal and set it in a way that I would be okay trying to understand the theory, only trying to understand the theory in the first attempt. And I realized that it worked. So I was like trying to read bit by bit, not to do the questions, but to understand the theory first and move forward. So that worked. So as a student, if you could break your big work into chunks, make it into manageable chunks, and put consistent effort over time, but for a prolonged period of time, sustain, you will achieve your goal by the end of the semester or by the end of the period that you like. Now let's look at a businessman. Most of the entrepreneurs who come to the world of business want overnight success. I mean, of course, if you are very thoughtful, you would do, but including myself, I would like to gain instant success. It doesn't work. So we see in most of the businesses, the entrepreneur or the leader, the CEO or the startup person would hustle and grind, put their effort to the maximum that they could. If they have employees, they will push the employees to the extreme, which ends up mostly unsuccessful. There are rare cases, yes, we know there are rare cases, but when you take the bigger picture and take the overall analysis and see, most of them fail because people burn out. And putting the maximum effort is not the best way. But if you put a manageable effort, but still try to continue as far as you could go, you will see results. So the best way is to plan it out, break it into chunks, delegate the work. That's a good point. Delegate the work, identify the talent, and try to manage the scenario and be consistent. If you want to build a startup, start from where you really want to do, what you really want to do. If you are building a product, an MVP, minimum viable product, would be the best, rather than pushing yourself to make the best of the best, where you will not get anything to the market. And now let's think about a very uncommon situation. Now, we don't talk much about philanthropist or a person who dedicated himself to charity. So when you dedicate yourself to charity, you feel like giving the maximum because it's for a good cause. And from the view of some, you'll feel that it's really good rather than doing something selfless, rather than doing something towards us. Doing something selflessly is really good. And for such a cause, it's better to give the maximum time, maximum energy, maximum resources that you can pull into. But rather than infrequent burst of energy in like grand charity, it's more sustainable that if you could give a maximum effort, if you could give a manageable effort, not a maximum, a manageable effort over a prolonged time period. You will not burn out, your resources will not exhaust, but you will be able to reach a wider community, a wider group of people, or you will be able to serve the same group of people for a long time period where your charity become very effective. So dear friends, I want you to think, if you are trying to put the maximum effort over the range of capacity that you can to achieve something, I want you to think, is this the approach that I want to take? Or should I be focusing on the end goal, the final goal, and managing myself so that I would be able to grasp, gain, or achieve what I value, the end goal, the ultimate result, the ultimatum. So in order to do that, it's good if we could lift manageable weights for a longer time period. And this is the same thing that James Clear mentioned in Atomic Habits. So we take baby steps, 1% at a time, 1% improvement. But over a prolonged time period, a continuous time period, we'll be able to see remarkable results. So I'm inviting you again to think about your daily goals or your goals or objectives that you're working on. Reflect on them and see if you could make some changes. And if you would like to share, please do so. I would like to hear your story as well. So before I finish the video, I would like to keep this thought. It's just a saying, I'll read it out. Success is not about lifting the heaviest weight once, but it's about lifting the right weight consistently with a full range of motion. So as I told you, as in my workout, I could get a full range of motion when I could do a manageable weight. Likewise, even if you are a student, an entrepreneur, person who works in charity, or anything that you do, if you could get the full range of motion for a long time period, you can achieve. So if you were there with me until the end of this video so long, I hope you enjoyed this video and gained some value. Thank you so much for being here. And if you would like to continue, please also check the next video and leave some comment. I value your participation and hope to see you, and hope you will win the best that you want with all good achievements that you make. Okay, so see you in the next video. Thank you so much.